we have finished our edge face cycle. I'm going to go ahead and do our turning cycle, which is Mazak terminology is going to be a bar function. I'm going to hit bar, and then I'm going to tell it we're working on the outside of a bar of material. I'm going to do a cutting pattern of zero, which simply means during my roughing passes I'm going to face up my shoulders, and it's asking me, what's my cutting point in X? Guys, I'm going to contact material once again in X at 1 inch. So I'm going to put in my 1 inch. Where am I going to contact material in Z? Zero. I've already faced it in the previous operation, so I'm going to put 0 in there. Once again, I can auto set. I love auto set. I can auto set my speeds and feeds. I'm going to use the same tool to turn with as I did to face with, so I'm going to select tool 1 in both the rough and the finish. Okay? Next thing, guys, is I've got options down here of what type of turning operation I'm going to do. I'm going to do a couple of lines. I'm going to do a line. It's going to ask me if I want a starting corner radius or corner chamfer. I'm going to go ahead and give it a radius by highlighting the corner radius button of 50 thousandths. My finish point in X is basically what diameter do I want this first diameter to be at. I'm going to turn it to a 1/2 inch. How far back in Z do I want to turn that diameter? I'm going to turn it back 1 inch. It's asking me if I want to do a final corner. I don't need any final corner, so I'm going to skip it. I'm going to give it that same roughness of 5. I've created my first line. Next, I'm going to create my second line. I told you we was going to turn 2 diameters. My second line, I'll put a 40 thousandths chamfer on by typing 0.04 and not highlighting radius. I'm going to put a C or a corner or a chamfer of 40 thousandths. My finish point in X for this one will make 0.75 or 7.5. Finish point in Z, how far back? I'm going to go 1.5 inches back. That's all coming from the face of my part. So I'm going to have a 1 inch diameter at a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to have another 1/2 inch of 3/4. So my total part here is going to be 1.5 inches. No final corner radius. It assumes that I want the same surface finish, and I can shape end that bar out. Something neat about Mazak, guys, we have graphical interface. If I hit the operations menu, I can do a shape check. With a shape continue, you can see what I just told Mazak that I wanted to program. There's my 2 diameters. If you look closely, you'll see a radius on this one. I happen to know it's 50 thousandths. You'll see a chamfer on this one. I happen to know it's 40 thousandths. So we have our 2 different diameters programmed, and that's what it's going to look like. I go back to my program. I mentioned I had one other feature I wanted to create, and that's a grooving feature. I'm going to do a grooving feature on the outside of the part. It's going to be a simple 1 style groove, 1 number. It's asking me how many grooves, number of grooves, 1. The pitch, I would have no pitch because I've only got 1 groove. Pitch would be the distance between the grooves. It's asking me for the width of the groove. I'm going to do 150 thousandths width of the groove. Finish allowance, I'll give it 2 thousandths for a finish allowance. Auto set the feeds and speeds, and I'm going to put that grooving tool in station number 2. Do I want a corner radius to start our groove? Basically here, guys, I tell it what I'm going to do, and I give it some dimensions. Here I tell it the actual description of the groove. I'm going to give it a small top corner radius of 5 thousandths, a starting point in X of a 1/2 inch. I'm going to give it a starting point in Z of a 1/2 inch, a finish point in X of 0.400, finish point in Z of 1/2 inch, no inside corner, no angle, and a 5 roughness. Once again, shape check, shape continue. You can see we have 2 diameters, and now we have created a groove. And let's wrap that right there.